Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Creative Workout Gym. And today, the word of the week is motivation. All right, so we need some great motivation to stay in shape, obviously. Okay, so the people of the gym, the members of the gym, they came up with some ways to increase your motivation. All right, and so we're going to go over some of these ways to increase your motivation. So the first way that was written, using the opposite sex or dating to increase your motivation. And this might be a little controversial, because people will say, exercise for yourself and, just only worry about yourself. And that is a thing. That is an important thing. You need to exercise for yourself. That's important. But you need multiple motivations in order to get in shape and to stay in shape. And one of the most biggest, if not the biggest motivation outside of yourself in order to get in shape is the opposite sex, right? To attract, a dater or somebody you want to date, okay? So that is a natural form of motivation to look good for somebody that you want to date. That could be, getting more muscles, losing weight. Those are all great things in order to maintain your shape. So now if you don't worry about dating or trying to keep a spouse or trying to get a spouse, if you eliminate that process, then you eliminate a large motivation block to get in shape. You eliminate that. And so most times I've seen people that, they want to get in shape for themselves. And a lot of times they don't do it because they have eliminated a lot of different motivations. And so one of the major motivations they have eliminated was just the dating elimination, the dating motivation. They eliminated that. All right, now let's go to another one. Validating yourself, right? That is proving to yourself that you can get in shape. A lot of people say, I know I can get in shape, or I know that I can be in shape, or I got in shape before, or, they tell themselves they know certain things, but I'm looking at you, I'm like, I'm not seeing it. So if you are realistic to yourself, you need to prove that to yourself. And you need to constantly have something to prove to yourself, because once you stop proving something to yourself, then what else is there left? You don't have any more motivation. You have proved everything that you needed to see to yourself, and so that limits motivation, or that eliminates motivation. Because proving to yourself is pretty much just setting goals, and seeing can you reach those goals. All right, so now creating daily affirmations. That's another great thing for motivation, because when you speak positive things into your life on a daily basis, you will start behaving in such manner. And what they say, if you lie to yourself enough, you'll start believing the lie. And so the daily affirmation, the positive daily affirmation, is not a lie, but it feels like a lie because it's not in front of you. You don't believe it. And so it'll feel like, man, that ain't nothing. I'm not that. But if you keep telling yourself something, even if you don't believe it, you'll start believing it. It might feel like a lie, but you'll start believing it. And so that's important. So daily affirmation, positive daily affirmation, is something that you need to do. Okay, another motivation, not needing a seatbelt extender on the plane. Okay, so this is specific to the person, not needing a seatbelt extender. So not getting so big to where you need a seatbelt extender. And so that, to extend that out to everybody else, to make that applicable to everybody else, is that you should have certain things that you fear, right? You should be like, okay, I don't want to be that. I want to be far away from this circumstance. I want to be far away from being sick. I want to be far away from being immobile. I want to be far away from whatever it is. You should have fear points that you're trying to run away from. But if you have no fear, you're more likely to be in that state. To be in that state, stay in that state, become worse because you don't have a fear of any particular situation. Everything is not that bad to where you'll avoid it. So you should have some things that are super bad that you're trying to avoid. So you should have some healthy fears. All right, another motivation, seeing your results and feeling better about yourself. Okay, so you should be results oriented. And so that means that you should really pay attention to your body, because a lot of times people gain a lot of weight because you really don't pay attention to your body. You don't check your body percent fat, grab a little piece of fat, see, oh, am I gaining weight or not? Or look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, things are changing, or am I getting better? Or checking the scale, getting on that scale and, making sure that you're going in the direction that you want to be going, right? But if you don't pay attention to the results, then, you're going to lose yourself. You're going to gain weight. And then also feeling good about the results because you're working hard, and so you should be feeling good about the results, and then, that should further motivate you. People telling you, oh, man, you look good. You've been working out? Like, yeah, I've been working out. I've been doing my thing. That should make you feel good and motivate you to do more. But a lot of times people fear paying attention to the results because if it doesn't go as they would like, they don't lose the weight. They've been working hard and they don't lose the weight, or nobody's giving them any compliments, or they can't fit into that dress even though they've been working hard trying to fit into that dress. People get discouraged. But one thing I would say about being discouraged, you need to get educated. So there's no room for discouragement if you're going to educate yourself. So it is an education process. It is a learning process. So there is no failure. There's only lessons. And so when you look at it like that, because at the end of the day, even if you don't lose weight, it's not like, they cut off the weight loss limit and that's it. You can't lose any more weight because you didn't lose weight this week. You can still lose weight next week. You're learning things for a lifetime. You're learning things to apply to the rest of your life. So if you didn't lose weight this week, last week, whatever, you need to learn, figure out what is it that I'm doing wrong. And once you figure that out, you can apply that for the rest of your life. But you're too scared to be so discouraged. You have a negative mindset with learning because you fear disappointment so much that you have a bad relationship with learning, a bad relationship with failure. Don't look at failure as a permanent thing. It's just a lesson, and that's something that you just grow from. That's how you grow and keep getting better. All right, so that is the motivation, the word of the week. Comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. Y'all take it easy.